Hopefully with this Ryder here to review the Kamen Rider Geats DX Desire Driver. So this is obviously the main transformation device of the riders within Kamen Rider Geats. As showcased here, we have Geats Magnum Boost alongside the hammer raise buckle and the other, mostly advertising this. And for it first, there's no flap. This is not a flap. This is actually a really thin box, and it's a completely square box, which I appreciate. It helps with space. So as you can see from the top here, besides the DGP logo, it showcases the fact you can do up to 10 forms out of box, which is a lie. And then right here, it shows off the Magnum buckle, or the raised buckle, alongside the contents of the box and the QR code for the instructions. And if we were to flip it here, it shows another picture of Geats with the boost raised buckle. And the bottom just has all the content warnings, battery requirements. And then the back has everything that we will mostly showcase. We're not going to showcase all of it because we will show why it's redundant. But honestly, one of my favorite driver boxes we've had of recency. Alright, so here are the contents of the package as I have previously shown. So we will just move the gimmicks off to this side as we don't need to look at them. And obviously focus on the driver stuff. So first of all, the straps, for the first time since, if I can actually orientate this correctly, for the first time since Geo, we've actually have new belt straps. So as you can see from here, it is a new mold and a new clip, I guess. Yeah. Which I appreciate. It's been, again, nearly 5 years since we've actually had a new belt strap, only for it to get ruined by the belt cover. This is the same exact one they've been using since Xade, and it's annoying because they've used this after Xade in Geo, obviously. And then they used it again in Saber. And now we have it here in Geats. I don't get it. They need to learn how to make belt straps again. I don't get why they keep repurposing belt straps. And my only gripe with this belt strap is that it's actually a bit difficult to get a grip of the clips, just due to the covering of the clips, which works, but it makes it a lot more difficult to actually get the clip in and just simply slot it in the Desire Driver like so. And then just again simply clip this back there like so, and then slide it up. You know, it's your typical fare of these belt straps. Again, I at least appreciate we at least have new straps, but I really would like for them to just, I know it's really mundane about complaining about the back clip. We at least have new straps. So I'll give Bandai that. Anyways, with the Desire Driver, on the other hand, it's actually really nice to actually have a simple form looking belt in a while. Because again, the last one was the Jiku Driver. And obviously that's just because of the entire gimmick of the gimmick. But I just like the simple black with the clear plastic here. for everything. Obviously, this is where the LEDs are and such, on and off switch like so. Mine was packaged with it up here, but just to note this, it's more proper for it to be at the bottom, especially because of the copyright information on the back, which is basically just a lot of screws and such. And obviously, as you can see from here, just like the Jiku driver, you have a button to twist the desired driver, but unlike the Jiku driver, this actually is a lot more sturdy, and it's not meant to like spin all the way through. The only way you can get it to do that is if you hold the button down. But this is not like, it's not meant to spin all the way around. It's just meant to turn once. So basically the spinning mechanism's a lot more heavier because of that, I guess. Again, left and right for the belt straps. This is where you're going to put your batteries, which again is just 3 AAAs. And these long gray buttons on the side are actually the eject buttons for the raised buckles. As you can see, a button going through there and such. So yeah, again, there's not really much to the base Desire driver, but I mean, that's not an issue though. That's actually kind of what makes it neat, just because it's just nice to actually have a really simple form driver, unlike, you know, things like the Revice driver and such. But yeah, that's basically it for this. So let's get into the 3 forms of a gimmick. So as you can see right here, we have, for the first time in a while, a driver that actually has more than the core items, because we have this thing. So moving this out of the way, so this is not necessarily the gimmick, because Bandai didn't want to make this the gimmick, because they didn't want kids to feel the need of having to collect these things, which is why they don't do anything. These are what I think, if I remember, these are the Ryder core IDs, or the ID cores. What does a future review say? Core ID, okay. So this is the Geats core ID, which is basically what signifies what rider you are. So I really do like the clear white pearlescent. It's not pearlescent, but I just like the clear white plastic. And then here we have the rider symbol for Geats, which is painted on. Or I don't know what you specifically call this. It's definitely not a sticker though. So that's kind of the biggest hint. I just really like how this looks, and I really like the little details at the center of it and such. But as you can tell, again, it doesn't do anything, especially because it's just clear. Next up, we have the hammer raise buckle, to which is the core gimmick of the line, as you can see. So for the most part, the only thing that's consistent within these is the top black base. But other than that, everything else is signified to the weapon. So as you can see from here, the armed hammer, which I do really like this hammer. And then on the back, just your typical fare. As you can see from here, we use a similar track system like the ride watches. However, unlike those, these end off in 2 pins instead of all 3. Then here we have the QR code for Gomba I think you were able to use these in Gomba to just give your rider a power boost. And then obviously we have copyright here and such. And the main gimmick of hammer is that you push it down or up. Basically, you just push it in and out. And then as you can see from down here, you have a peg that comes out for the desired driver. and such. However, that's not it for the raised buckles, as here is the Magnum raised buckle. So despite the fact this is a lot bigger and more complicated, these are still the same thing. These are still considered raised buckles. It's just that Magnum in particular is a lot more like combust, I guess. As you can see, the nice gold paint like so, and just again the nice like clear white plastic they carried over from the Core ID and such, and like the red and such. Like overall, like I just really like how this one works, or it just looks overall. The back is, you know, could have done better. It's just a lot of hollow emptiness and such. But the back is still the same. I forgot to actually say. So this one within the pin system is 005. While this one is 062. The QR code for Gamba Rising. And then, yeah. It's alright in size. Because obviously, I think the suit show, the show prop within the belt is a lot longer, but I think this is technically accurate for like just prop wise. But as you can see from here, you can spin the Magnum barrel like so, and then press the trigger in like so. To which, if you actually hold in the trigger and spin the barrel, it actually gets rid of the locking mechanism, so you can just keep spinning it until you let go and such. And as you can see, this is how you will activate the switch for the desired driver, like so. And I just really like how the Magnum just works. Again, I just really like how this entire thing works and such. And last but not least, we have the Boost Raised Buckle, which is, I guess, spoiler, not tied to any Rider specifically, but it still kind of carries over some color schemes from Magnum and such, and they're basically the same. They have the same base basically, as you can tell, so these two are basically correlated. It's just a lot more simpler, definitely. There's just a lot more black, gray, and silver, but then we have this nice chrome cover, or boosters. And then, as you can see from the back, this one's 059, QR code for Gamba Rising. And then this one's gimmick is when you open it up, it opens up. I meant to say when you, I don't know what you call that, but it opens up, and basically in the show by itself, it's supposed to be able to summon Boost Striker, which is the bike, but whenever they get to the future stuff, it probably will be possible. But just again, I don't think it's as fun as Magnum, but it still gets the job done, just being fun. And then, as you can see, that also pushes in too. So yeah, I think I hope that does a good job at overviewing the raised buckles. So let's get to the Desire Driver. So with the Desire Driver, first of all, when you switch it on down here, it announces itself. You see a flicker of light for some reason. And basically the first thing you can do without anything is just press the button down like so, and then twist it to get that sound. Other than that, you can't do anything. However, if you start using raised buckles, so like if you use hammer and slot in like so, and then just play like you actually have it active, that's all you can do. It doesn't really do anything significant and such. So There's Magnum. It only does that sound. And so as you can see, without putting in the core ID, it doesn't really do anything. It'll just play like basic sounds. So inserting the core ID, you just simply click it into the sensor like so. Which we are now in our entry raise form and such, which is basically the default form of all of these Kamen Riders and such. Let's get into the first level of forms within Geats, which are the arm buckles. So again, just simply slot it in like so. So now you get the standby when you have a core ID, and then again, just simply press it down. So now we're equipped with the arm hammer. As you can tell, the LEDs are the LEDs are corresponding to the raised buckle. It might look purplish. I think it's just because of the white. And there's basically 2 LEDs for each side. So if we press it down again, we will do the finisher. As you can see from there, it will actually do a 7 LED when you do the finisher. And that's basically all you can do. So to remove the raised buckle, basically you want to press the button on the side like so, and then slide it out. Pretty simple. And I really do like, they basically fixed a flaw with the GQ driver, where they actually made this a lot more, they made it a lot more stronger of a grip for these buckles. So then when you revolve on, they don't fly out, and I appreciate that. So let's do Geats' base form with the Magnum raised buckle, sliding it into the right slot like so. As you can see, a green LED. And now with this one, it's a 2-step process. You want to spin the barrel and then press the trigger. Sometimes you have to be quick, but not too quick, because you don't want to overwrite the sound. And now this is not cooperating. So this basically can now actually operate into, this can, now this is showcasing one of the biggest issues with this toy, but this is not the point. So again, you want to rotate this and then press the trigger. As you can tell, the sound is definitely more, there's definitely more to the sound compared to the armed weapons, as there's an actual jingle and such, instead of just the weapon sound and then the announcement. Gosh, why? So, again, like I said before, Magnum, you have to be careful with it, because basically you spin this way too hard, you're going to overwrite the sound of turning this. Like, if I do this, for example. It's just how it's programmed, so, which, it is canon to the show, but we'll get to that later. And then just to show it off, if you were to press this here, and then turn this around. We are now Geats Magnum Revolve On, because I forgot to announce previously we were Geats Magnum. Form? I don't remember. Anyways, we're just doing this to show off the fact that you can pair weapon, like armed weapons, with these raised buckles. So if we technically slot this to the left, the two LEDs still correspond to each other. And then how we did in the show. So as you can see, you would have kind of expected it because of the orientation we're at, that it would have done armed hammer first and then Magnum. Because basically with how the sound was, it basically thinks we're doing Magnum and hammer, not hammer and Magnum. Again, that's just due to programming. So again, we can do a finisher with this. So I'll do it proper. Actually, I will just show the opposite.
Magnum, hammer, victory.
So yeah, the finisher doesn't really change. It just chains the two together. And again, you can eject both of them at the same time, like that. Now I will actually keep us on revolved as we use boost, as we use it again in our right slot. We get another green LED, and just like Magnum, we get two sounds when we rev this up. So this is now Geats boost form, to which, again, if we rev it once,
Boost, strike.
I really like how both Magnum and Boost, as you can hear, actually have little musical cues within their finishers and such. However, Boost is special, as if we rev this twice, we access the boost time, which is basically our traditional Ryder finisher fare, with this really nice jingle. And then just rev it again.
Boost, grand strike.
So as you can hear from there, because I literally forgot to say it. So typically, with a singular buckle, you get strike. Buckle name strike. And then when you put in two buckles together, you get buckle name, victory. But then when you do boost time, you get grand in front of whatever you have. So obviously this is because boost is singular, you get grand strike. And then revolve on.
Revolve on.
Temperature. If we didn't close it, this would have been Geats boost form revolve on. Anyways, now getting to the core, actual base form of Kamen Rider Geats, when we actually use the Magnum buckle. So now at this point, we just need to do the gimmicks of both of these. So now we are at Kamen Rider Geats Magnum Boost form, and I really like the LED coordination of this form. I like that they were able to bring out all the colors together and such, and how the designs, the details within both Magnum and Boost were specifically made to correlate with a specific LED to shine out different portions and such. And like overall, just the look of this belt is actually pretty neat. Like, yeah, it's pretty long, but I mean, I just like how uniform these two buckles are and such. Like, it's just really nice. I just like the transition of like white to red, but then like being unified by this gold circle. It's really neat. And I just really like this touch of like the buckles covering this top part and such. Because it really helps fill out the driver and such. Anyways, we can do our basic finisher.
Magnum Boost Victory.
So there's Magnum Boost Victory. However, when we do boost time again,
Boost time. Magnum Boost Grand Victory.
there we have Magnum Boost Grand Victory and such. And then for fun, you can obviously still revolve on. Well, we will try to actually show this in full.
Revolve on.
To be Boost Magnum, revolve on. Or no, I think it is still just Boost Magnum technically, but yeah. That's kind of it for the core of the Desire driver. To which, if the camera doesn't overheat on me, and it will, I think for a base package, this is the most robust we've had a driver in quite a while, which is kind of sad in a way, but at the same time, it's really accomplishing. The fact you get, I mean, out of these three buckles separately, you get three different forms, but then you can combine them together to form more forms. But obviously, like, there are drawbacks, and like that's just due to how it's programmed. Like, again, if you like, basically the main reason why the revolve on system is there is just so then you don't, no, just so then you're not technically forced to like. Again, if I wanted to do boost magnum, I don't have to put in boost first and then magnum. You can just simply switch that. But obviously then the core is upside down, depending on which orientation you had it. But as a base package, it's really fun in a way. Just because technically the revolve on, they are forms in a way. It's just that obviously you don't get anything special out of them. You just get revolve on and then that jingle, which is a fine jingle. It's just kind of a cheap way of saying, wow, you get a lot of your value as the temperature overheats. But like, I think it really does help that this buckle was included, because it's been a while. It's been since the Ghost Driver. They included more than one gimmick item. Like, that's a, like, additional item. Because most likely this was supposed to, well, I mean, Geats didn't have a movie ticket item because he didn't use anything. But if this thing was not here, this set would have been like, eh. But I'm glad that they included this. Just so then there was actually some value. Because, you know, just to at least have something like this is like fun. because I get for like recent Ryder belts, they don't bother including like another gimmick item and only just like the core like the item that makes like the main form. I get that they only do that because they assume that you bought the pre-release item, which is stupid. So I'm really glad Geats in a way didn't do one because yeah, how are they supposed to sell this? But at the same time, it helped with the marketing for this belt, to which I think they did a good job of like selling to us the idea of like, oh wow, like this thing, like you get like 10 forms out of the box, and like what I said, it's not. It kind of cheaps its way through that, but I mean, it doesn't fault for like what this thing does at the core, to which is great because like I just like the fact that like again you get 3 forms singly, and then you can like put these together. Again, if you put Magnum Boost together, you get another jingle. So you basically get like 3 core forms out of this thing, and then like a weapon, like obviously an armed weapon. I just like how they like introduced all of these like aspects and such. Like obviously the core ID is pretty neat and all and such, but there's not really much to talk about that. Obviously this thing has faults, but it's not. The issue with the faults of this toy is not directly out of box, or it shouldn't be directly out of box. It's just having it over time. As you as you witnessed me, this like the right side in particular for Desire drivers, they start wearing out with like 2 months in, which is really weird. Yes, there are solutions of like fixing it, but honestly, I don't know why. I feel like it's honestly an overlooked issue about the fact that it's just such a weird issue of a toy wearing out, not even a half year in. Like, I don't know why that is an issue in the first place. But I feel like it's not really an issue I can talk about. It's not a valid criticism point or criticizing point to bring up as like you initially get it, because obviously it's going to be fine. It's just I feel like it's just a thing to like be worried about, of like your desire drive, not your actual desire, your desire driver is going to wear out 2 months in at best. So be on the lookout for that, and like I guess look for solutions of like basically re-oilizing your pins. My biggest gripe about the Desire driver is just how they programmed the forms, which is not even valid. It's just being nitpicky, because I think it genuinely sucks that it can't really. Basically, any combination is already pre-programmed, because the reason why these bigger buckles are in the higher number, like for example, this one is 062, but this one is 005. The reason why they specifically numbered it like that is because the way the Desire driver is programmed is that any buckle that's higher, like basically they programmed it so like the buckles that are higher go first, and then the number that's lower goes second. That's how they can cheap their way of doing the jingle first, and then the whatever is lower, which is annoying when you want to do specific combinations and temperature. Like, I personally would have liked it if it went by, it plays the sound of the first buckle you insert and then the second buckle after. Like, more of like, you insert, like, that's more complicated, obviously, because it's just like I guess the easier way they could have programmed it is by it'll go by the buckle you insert on this side, then this side. But it's not, because with, for example, if I want to do uh armed hammer and magnum, I would rather have it play the armed hammer sounds first and then the magnum sounds. But more ideally, I just would have wanted it to play the sounds by how I inserted them. So like if I put in so if I wanted to try to do boost or like hammer and boost, but then I inserted boost first and then hammer and then like, get infuriated by the fact that it didn't play the sounds correctly, that's on my fault because I inserted boost first and then hammer. Again, I think this is like a really nitpicky point, but I just don't really like how they basically cheese their way through programming the desire driver within combinations, because combinations aren't just they're just not special. Which is why I'm not gonna really show combinations, because there's nothing special to them, or like combining buckles together, which is just unfortunate. But as a base package, I think it's great. This is like a pretty solid base package. And the best part, I think, I think this got released via Bluefin. I don't know. They barely do US releases anymore, so I don't know if you can actually get this at like a GameStop or something. Honestly, just if you can, that would be cool and probably more worthwhile. But other than that, just pick it up on like Amazon Japan or Mandarake. And I think, well, I mean, prices of these things are the same. They're always like $70 and such. But I feel like this one's actually more valid at being $70. Unlike, again, most recent Ryder belts. The camera is probably going to overheat yet again, so that'll have to do this review. This is Ryder, and I'll leave you people. Bye.